Good evening and welcome to Views with Joyce Waddell. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. We have a very interesting guest. We're going to be talking with Deborah Scott. She's a retired school principal. She has been in administration and she's a drummer. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about as we talk about music and education and how important they both are when it comes to helping this community, when it comes to helping children grow and develop and matriculate through 12 years of academic pursuits. So welcome, Deborah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Deborah, you've done some very interesting things as we talk about music and education. Now, you've been with a drummer at the McCrory for more than 10 years, haven't you?
Yes, 15 years now.
And how much time does it take out of your day to rehearse and to go out and do programs?
Being retired helps, and we have classes every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11 at the H.L. McCrory YMCA on Betty's Ford Road.
Classes? What kind of classes? You mean you learn classes for you to learn, or classes where you teach someone?
Well, when I got here in 2001 from Buffalo, New York, the first week I got here, I met a wife of the person who was repairing my car, the car repairman, and she comes out of a car holding a djembe drum, an older person, 60 years old. And I said, "Ma'am, you're carrying a drum?" And she said, "Yes, I'm a drummer." And I says, "Well, where is the class at?" She says, "Come here tomorrow and I'll take you." So that's the day she took me to the McCrory YMCA, and I joined the first week I got here. So God had positioned me to be in the senior drummers.
Now, were you a drummer before you came to Charlotte? Then did you have your own drums, and were you always participating?
I've wanted to be a drummer since I was 3 or 4 years old, Joyce. And my mother told me drumming wasn't for girls, and that's in Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant area. And she made me take classical piano and classical ballet. She didn't realize that God was using her as an instrument to get me going, because the piano is a percussion instrument. But I didn't get to take drum class until I found one up in Buffalo, New York, when I was going to Buffalo University. And I joined a drum class there when I was 26 years old. So I've been playing drums now for 40 years.
Oh, okay. So you can teach them a lot while you're at McCrory Y.
Yes.
Because you've already experienced it, and you've already been taught a lot of the fundamentals and basic things.
Yes.
So were you playing with a group in Buffalo also?
Yes, there was a group under Emil Latimer, and he was a student of Baba Alatunji and Mongo Santa Maria. So here I am being taught by the best master drummers, because they would visit him in Buffalo and give us 6-week workshops every year. So I started in the group that Emil Latimer had. We started a community drum group, and we were standing on street corners and dressed in our African clothes, playing drums on Saturday afternoons.
And so when people walked by, did they give donations?
Yes, they wanted to, but he would tell them, "We're not for profit." So he would not accept the money.
Well, a lot of people now, they play instruments on the street corners, and some of them make as much as $100 a day.
Yes.
And sometimes that's all they do. That's their living, because they're providing the entertainment, they're giving up their time.
Yes.
And people love to hear them, so they just contribute.
Yes.
Now, Deborah, you've had a very interesting career.
Thank you. I'm so blessed. I'm highly favored and very blessed.
Now, what brought you to Charlotte?
I came to visit my son, who came here in 1997, and settled from Buffalo and got his job in the bank here. And I came to visit him, fell in love with his church. At that time it was the University Park Baptist Church under Claude R. Alexander. And I fell in love with the church. And before I knew it, God had enabled me to move down here. Now, I needed 5 more years to retire. But as God would have it, I had confiscated my 3rd gun as a high school principal. And I was so nervous trying to hold this gun from the 4th floor cafeteria, walking all the way down to the 1st floor office, concealing it in my middle management suit. I thought I was going to trip and shoot my toe off or something. At any rate, by the time I got to the 1st floor, I was dizzy, I had a terrible headache, and I almost became unconscious. When they called the ambulance, they told me I was at stroke proportions. So I got, the gun was placed in the safe, and I called the superintendent, called the police, the student was suspended, and I was on my way to the hospital. And that was my last day of duty. The doctor told me, "You're at stroke proportions, I'm not letting you return to work." So I was able to come here on disability using my 200 sick days that I had accrued.
Well, similarly in Buffalo, you wouldn't have those kinds of experiences with students in school. That's a city of mostly upward mobility, isn't it?
Buffalo is just like any other city in the United States, similar to Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago. Gun violence started, I'd say, late 80s and early 90s. And that was my third incident as principal. So we have that problem nationwide.
And it's more intense in some of the larger high schools than in others.
Yes. So I was able to move down here and stay until I was 55 for early retirement.
And so God blessed you.
He blessed me mightily.
And so you're always grateful for your blessings.
Yes.
Because you never know from whence they cometh.
You never know.
Now, have you seen the steel drums? Do you play those? Have you heard of them?
It's funny you mentioned that, Joyce. When I was principal, I didn't have time to take classes or perform with the groups in the community, but I received this telephone call from a accountant in City Hall who was in charge of a steel drum band. He was from Trinidad and Tobago, and he pleaded with me to come to rehearsal. I said, "Sir, I'm too busy. I can't play drums right now. I don't have time." And he wouldn't take no for an answer. And I really started to realize that it was the Spirit bringing me, a demand to come out into the community and play the drums. Finally, I condescended and went to his studio and for the first rehearsal, and he taught me everything I know about Trinidad music. I played with him and his band in the community on
a steel drum band.
Steel drum band, but I was playing conga drums then. And he had me as the conga player because, as you might know, there's a beat that goes with the Trinidad music.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And so now what kind of drum do you have here?
This is actually, this is an American version of a African djembe drum.
So this drum is called djembe?
Djembe. And I say American version because my African drum is being repaired. My African drum was made of goat skin.
What is this made of?
This is made of cowhide. So American
drums.
So
this is cow skin, right?
Cow skin. American drums are made of cows. African drums are made of goat. And American drums are plastic and vinyl. African drums are the wood from the baobab tree in West Africa.
So this is American drum.
Yes, but my African drum, a friend of mine in Greensboro, Alan Boyd, one of the best drum teachers I've ever met in my life. He's putting a new head on my African drum right now.
Now with this drum, sometimes people think that you're just hitting on a drum, but it's more to it than that, isn't it?
There's only 3 skills for drumming, for djembes and conga drums. The bass note.
This is a djembe.
And
the other one is a conga.
Yes. This is called DJ, E-M-B-E, with an accent over the E. It's bass, note, and slap. So that's the only 3 skills of African drumming.
Okay, bass.
So bass is in the middle of the drum, and you want to hit this fatty part here, and just kind of like bring it out, pull it out. Okay?
Bass.
Hit it again. Yeah, you got it.
What's the other one?
Note on the side right here.
Note.
And then slap, like you're slapping somebody's face. Okay?
So it's 3 different distinct sounds.
3 different distinct sounds.
That you get.
And here you'll get, for bass.
So like a piano, you see the notes A, B, C, D. Can you play this the same way?
Well, when they have drum written notes, it's kind of funny. It has silhouette notes, and it's not the F-A-C-E or E-G.
It corresponds to
how many times you're hitting the drum. So you just see like a slash, slash, slash.
It corresponds, but it does not correspond to where you to bass. Does one person one person playing bass all the time, and somebody else playing?
No.
No.
So here you go. Bass, note, slap. So
that's how y'all play when you play together. And with your group.
And now I'm teaching them again. I was their teacher about 5 years ago for 7 years. And the Gume is our teacher, and he's out on sick leave right now. So they asked me to come back as teacher last week.
So how many members do you have in that group?
Over 20. And we're all 55 to our oldest drummer's 92.
Are they consistent about sticking with it?
Yes. It's really a family, extended family. And we do a ministry. That's what we're doing. One of the teachers, Baba Alatunji, taught me that drumming is God's heartbeat. And as we go out and perform in the community, we're extending God's heartbeat to whoever's there, praying that they'll receive it in their hearts.
And so you don't have people being absent. You don't have people not showing up and just showing up for when they have events.
You know, drumming is so anointed and so spiritual that we have very little absenteeism. And when folks are out on sick leave, we keep a prayer vigil for them, and when they come back, it's like a locomotive train. When one person gets off, another person gets on.
So is that the limit? You have 16 members, now 17?
Well, it started with maybe 12 or 11 people, but now we're over 20 people.
But have you ever thought about maybe you'd have two groups so that one group can be going one place, another group another place?
No, we never thought about that. No, we never
Everybody
did.
wants to stay cohesive in the same group.
Yeah.
Audience, we'll continue to talk with Deborah Scott as we talk about music and education and how important the two are together. And as we talk about her drumming experience, she continues to teach, continues to educate about music and the importance of drumming spiritually as well as educationally. And so Deborah.
It's Deborah.
Deborah?
Yes.
Deborah.
Deborah. That's the way it's pronounced in Judges in the Bible.
It's called Deborah.
Hebrew.
Deborah.
Yes, ma'am.
And some people call it Deborah.
Yes, and a lot of people say Debbie, and I have to remind them.
That it's Deborah. Okay,
Yes.
I got it. Deborah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and so your childhood, then you knew Shirley Chisholm if you were in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Well, she was a couple of decades older than me, but I remember her coming up, and we supported her for her endeavors.
Yeah, first African-American female to run for president.
Wow, yes. I think I met her in our church. I was under Gardner C. Taylor, one of the preachers of the century, as Ebony identified him, the magazine. And so I went to Concord Baptist Church as a little girl, and I believe she was a member there then.
Okay, Deborah, you were a physical education teacher?
Yes, I went to Buffalo University when I was 17, and I majored in physical education. Oh, my mother was so upset. She didn't want me to be a phys ed teacher, you know. It wasn't something that was popular then. And I just knew I didn't want to be, couldn't be still in an office setting. I couldn't be sitting down all day typing, because I used to have summer jobs as a clerk typist. And I thought maybe I could just be a secretary the rest of my life. But God had something else for me.
And so you majored in and graduated, and you became a physical education teacher.
Yes, I was the third black female educator in the whole city of Buffalo in 1969.
That was quite unusual, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Was it an integrated system?
I was coming in at the time when they were planning magnet schools. And as God would have it, I was chosen from this vocational girls high school, which was a very rough first assignment for any teacher. I had girls who came in 9th grade who had already had 2 or 3 babies. When they graduated in 12th grade, they had 4 or 5 babies. Every Friday, their boyfriends would come pick them up in their Cadillacs, just lined up around the school.
That was unusual, wasn't it?
That was very unusual. And I said to myself, this made me feel like the Blackboard Jungle experience.
The boyfriends would come to pick, or these girls were married to this?
No, they were not married.
They were common law married.
Yes.
They were common law married to these men.
Yes.
And they were in school at the same time?
Well, I found out that teenage pregnancy was a problem. And don't you know, as the Lord would have it, because I was a health and phys ed teacher, the superintendent identified me and sent me to state and national trainings for teenage pregnancy, for HIV/AIDS prevention, for drug abuse prevention. And I brought back the wealth of knowledge. And then he would have me train all the teachers in all of the schools on Saturday mornings. And that's how I became that physical ed director and health ed director.
So did it make a difference? The things that you did, did it make a difference in the teenage pregnancy and the lifestyle of these young women as a result of your training?
Yes, it did. We were able to identify a small school that was closed, and we had that renovated and opened again for females who were pregnant and throughout the district. And they got counseling, they got health assessments. I had a clinic placed in there. That took a lot of work to get New York State to agree with the Buffalo Board of Education to have a health clinic, which was funded by state funds. And after we had that first clinic, then I identified 8 other high schools. That took 5 years to have a clinic placed in each one of those high schools. Therefore, parents could use their health insurance to pay for any services that would be needed. And students were being identified right there in the school with needs.
Oh, okay, so you brought the services right to the students.
Right to the students.
That makes a big difference. They don't have to go out and look for something. You don't have to have a referral here.
Yes.
Wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you can get seen. So that makes a big difference.
You have to identify the problem and get that child some help.
Immediately.
And teenage pregnancy rates went down. In the 36 years that I was in Buffalo, New York, the teenage pregnancy rates did go down.
Okay, as we continue to talk with Deborah Scout.
Okay.
As we talk about drumming.
She's going to do that first one.
And now we're going to take a look at some of the programs that she's been doing and how she's been involved in drumming throughout the years.
Okay, we're going to play. I'm going to play with a recording that I was in one of the bands in Buffalo.
Okay.
And it's steel drum music from Trinidad and Tobago.
Wonderful. You know, I'd love to do that. I've always had that dream.
Keep the shaker ray going.
Okay, you're gonna tell me when to shake.
Okay.
Are you gonna?
You're gonna feel it.
Oh,
you're gonna feel it.
So I will know when to shake.
Everybody feeling nice today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Everybody like to dance and sing.
You look pretty good there.
And so you dance as well, don't you?
Yes. I guess it was because...
Now when you perform with your group, you dance, even though y'all 50 years old. And from 50 to 90, you still dance, right?
Yes, yes.
But you sit down and dance.
Well, I'll tell you, you can't sit still. You can't stand still when you hear God's heartbeat. It's a rhythm that just gets you going. And when we play out in community, say on street parties or big stages, the first people that respond are the mentally ill or the young children. And they'll come right up and smile and start moving, and then more and more people get involved. But you find the ones that have the most complex problems, the most weight on their shoulders, white, black, men, women, whatever color. Drumming is so universal. How can it not be? It's God's heartbeat.
Now, in addition to drumming, your group will dance, right?
Yes. We have the drum class on Tuesdays and the praise and worship dance class on Thursday.
The same group.
It's essentially the same group. I had to leave that group about 6 years ago because I'm taking care of 2 grandsons every day.
But you did that in the, now that's almost like a job.
Oh yeah, that is a job.
And these women do that at the Y?
Yes.
Twice a week?
They do it twice a week. I'm so proud of them. And over the years, we compete for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Senior Games. And I wore these to
Now when is the games this year?
May 20th, and we're getting ready for that with our next piece.
Okay.
And we have won 15 gold medals and 3 silver medals.
Now each person gets a medal?
Yes. And we not only have we won it for Charlotte, but they've sent us to Raleigh and for the state senior games. And we came back with 3 different years, 3 gold medals from there.
And you won the medals in which category?
The large group instrumental.
Okay.
Okay. And the dancers won a couple of years ago in the large group dancing.
For seniors
For
in their
seniors.
age category.
Yes, 55 or over.
And for drumming for 55 years and older, right?
Who would have thought?
That's amazing. Now your first gold medal,
Yes.
that one, the square
That might
one.
have been 2000, and I had to wait till I was 55, so that was about 2006 when I won this first one.
When you went, that was individually?
No, it was large group, but each one of us who was in the group.
That was, you won that one in Raleigh.
Yes.
And you won it in Charlotte first, right?
Yes, I just brought these to show the examples. They're actually the same gold medals they give us every year. So
you got one
Charlotte,
for every year.
Out of the 15, we won 11. And out of
So you got 11 of those.
Yes, I do. I have them all over the house. And of course, that's a legacy I give to my grandsons.
You give them these medals?
Yes.
Or as you win them?
Because I let them know that it's nothing they can't do if
That's
they put their
wonderful.
heart
Now,
and
what
mind and
ages
soul
are they?
to it. 13 and 11.
Oh, okay. Okay. They're in middle school.
Yes. And they go to 2 different schools, so I have to get on 2 different carpool lines.
Okay, so now the gold one, that one, you won that one first.
Yeah, that's first place. And then these reflect the second place silver.
And so that's the eagle on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and each member gets a silver, and each member gets.
So if they were in with us for first place, then each one of us get the gold medal. And they give it to us on that day at the site. And if we came in second place, then each one of us gets this silver medal.
Now you get that in Charlotte, 2 medals, one in Charlotte, and then you get another one in Raleigh.
Yes.
When you compete in Raleigh.
Yes. And it's an experience. We have to stay at the hotel. We have to go for their several rehearsals. And you have to be in compliance with everything because we're the only African American group participating in Raleigh. And we were the only African American group participating in Charlotte for many, many years. But we started to encourage other churches and other special groups like cheerleaders, musicians, singers. And now we have a good representation of about, I would say, 40% African American participation.
Really? It's
But
changed.
it was only us in the beginning, and it was tough. It was melting the ice to get in.
And now you have 40%.
Yeah, now we do. We see a lot of different groups participating.
So, you won your category in music
Yes.
or in drumming.
In the music, you can have a solo or a small group or a large group. So we're under the music large group instrumental.
Oh, okay. And so there are other kinds of instrumental groups that are participating, other than drums, aren't there?
This year, the last competition, I saw some saxophone players, I saw some piano players, I saw some ballerinas. It was just beautiful to see.
How many first place groups do you have? Is it just one first place?
One first place, yes, just one first place. It's usually about anywhere from 10 to 20 other competitors.
Oh, that's a lot.
Oh, okay. Now this next song, I kind of relate to it because I like to dance. And it's the theme of an older woman dancing.
Okay.
And
Now, do I play this?
yes, I want you to get going with it, unless you want to play the drum.
No, I'll play this.
Okay.
I'll do
okay.
this.
And it's also Trinidad and Tobago,
Okay.
which all comes from African rhythms. Yeah. I think she has the wrong one. Yeah, she has the wrong one. You want to tell her? Okay.
Keep going.
Okay. She realized it. It's the second one. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's number 3. She likes to dance, she likes to dance.
She loves to dance, she loves to dance. She loves to dance, she dance all night. She loves to dance, she loves to dance. She loves to dance, she loves to dance. She loves to dance, she dance all night.
Having fun? I love the dance. I love the dance.
Hallelujah. Very good, very good. So you can imagine what happens when children play these drums.
I can. It's an experience.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes we can't get children to do anything else. If you get them involved in music, get them involved in something that they're doing other than sitting still. It's an education for them and an education in itself.
Yes.
And it really cuts down on all that bad behavior.
Whatever school I was assigned to as teacher or administrator, I always asked, if I was a teacher, I always asked the principal, could I involve the children with a auditorium program with the children playing the drums. And do you know that their suspensions went down and their academics went up?
Thank you so much, Deborah,
You're
for being with us on
welcome.
Views with Joyce Waddell. Audience, I want to also thank you for being with us on Views with Joyce Waddell. I want you to tune in next week for another interesting program.